What is up, Cheeseheads? My name is Joey Petersen. You are watching the Packers Report. Welcome into the show. We do this thing every day. We only talk about Green Bay, so you found the right place to be. Coming up on the show, we're going to talk about it. Is the NFL screwing Green Bay? We're about a week and a half removed from the schedules being released. We're going to break down their schedule and why I think it might not be in the biggest favor of the Packers. Before that, if you guys are subscribed, shout out to you guys. Thanks so much. If you're not, hit that sub button. Also, turn on those notifications. Okay, right now, our Noti gang, which is who we call everybody who has those bells on, is at 545 people. So it's a small group. We're trying to get it going up even more. My goal after today's episode is to get that to 600. This is a very select group of people. Only the diehards of the Packers Report are in the Noti gang. And all you got to do to join it is hit that bell emoji. That way when we post, you know you can come in and watch the content. Let's talk about the schedule first before we talk about how the NFL is screwing Green Bay. It starts off with a bang against the Lions, and then you got the Commanders early bye week in Week 5. Steelers on Sunday Night Football in Pittsburgh in Week 8. That one's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, you got to schedule that game Week 10 against the Eagles on Monday Night Football. Against the Lions on Thanksgiving. The Ravens at home in Week 17. 2 games against the Bears in the last 5 games of the season. It's going to be a blast, and when you look at it, you say, that's not the easiest schedule, and you're correct. It's a very typical hard Packers schedule. Whenever you're a good football team that plays in a very good division, that plays in the best division of football in the NFC North, you're going to have a hard schedule. You're going to play a lot of really good teams because you have to play the Lions. You have to play the Bears. You have to play the Vikings twice a year. Those 6 games are pretty difficult right there. You don't have it on easy street. You're not the Bills. You're not playing the AFC East. You're not playing the NFC South. This is the NFC North. It's hard up here, right? A couple takeaways from the schedule. First home opener since 2018 against the Lions. That's going to be an absolute blast. 3 of the last 4 games are on the road, which is tough. 9 games against teams in the playoffs in 2024 as well. Still, throughout all that, the Packers are favored, in 13 games. If you look at their schedule, look at the Lions as they sit currently. They're favored in each of their first, 8 games? And then you go down the stretch, you see a lot of other teams. Eagles are favored, Lions are favored, Broncos are favored, Ravens are favored. So a lot of your games where you're not favored are kind of coming at the end of that season, end of the schedule. And this is what we're talking about today. It's something called rest edge. And I talked about it earlier in the week, but I don't think I went in depth enough. So I'm going to do that on today's episode. This is where I believe that Green Bay is getting screwed. Because if you look at the picture on your screen right now, you could see net rest days for the entire National Football League. And of course, your Green Bay Packers happen to be in the negative at -2. So what is rest edge, you ask? Well, great question. I love you guys asking so many great questions recently. It's the measure of total days of extra rest or minus rest that a team has compared to their opponents over the course of the season. So say you're playing someone coming off of their bye week. You would be at a -7 net rest edge because they got to rest a full week added on the prior week without a game. That's basically what it means. And it's proven to be very, very helpful when it comes to these games. Historically, rest advantage has been thought to boost performance. For example, in 2023, teams with the rest advantage had a 52% win rate. For 2011, bye weeks gave teams a significant edge, estimated at plus 2.2 points per game, largely due to extra preparation time. So if you look again at this kind of little chart on your screen right now, Green Bay's at -2, which is basically saying over these 17 games throughout the season, your rest compared to all of your opponents' rest, you're at a -2 disadvantage. And honestly, being at a -2 disadvantage when it comes to rest edge, combined with having a bye week in Week 5, it kind of sucks. It's one thing if you're minus, but then you're also have a bye in the middle of the year, maybe late in the year to kind of make up a little bit of that time. It's okay, you could deal with that. But having your bye week, Week 5, and also being -2 throughout the entirety of the season, it's just not the easiest combination. Let's just say that. Take a guess for me down below. Predict the Packers record in the comments section. You saw the 17 games. What do you have them going? Okay, let me know right now in the comments section. Let's talk about the disadvantages, okay? Because I got 4 to discuss on today's show. The teams you play on your rest disadvantage are 3 really good teams. There are 3 teams that made the playoffs last year. One of those teams won the whole dang thing. In Week 8, you're playing Pittsburgh on a minus 3 days rest. Week 10, you're playing Philadelphia off their bye. That's minus 7 right there. And then you're playing Minnesota on minus 3 days rest as well. And in Week 18, that's going to be massive because that could possibly be for the whole division. Who knows? Week 18, it's going to at least mean something, you have to think. But it's also not like you get a ton of help on the teams you do play on a rest advantage. A big rest advantage, let's say, of plus 3 days or more. You only get 2 of those, right? Which kind of sucks in and of itself. And one of them's against the Browns, just a plus 3. The other one's against Cincinnati, which, sounds good and sounds like it's like, oh, that's a massive game. That's huge to get plus 7 against Cincinnati. But they didn't make the playoffs. And when you look at the 17 games, I could probably think of 7 or 8 games I'd rather have a plus 7 rest day advantage of over the Bengals. You also just happen to be playing, like I talked about earlier, the best team in the National Football League coming off their bye. And it's no secret that Green Bay has had some trouble dealing with Philadelphia over the past 365 days. They lost the opener in Brazil, and then they lost in the first round of the playoffs. Now, you played Philadelphia well. As much as it didn't seem like it, you were in that game for a very, very long time. But regardless, you're ready to get your lick back, right? You're ready to get the win against this team that is so not easily, but they've beaten you over the last year, and you have to do it when they're coming off of 7 days of more rest than you are. And then also, like I mentioned earlier, you got a Week 5 bye. But you get that Week 5 bye, that combined with the fact that the meat of your schedule is late is really disadvantageous. Is that a word, Jack? Advantageous is a word. You got to kind of think disadvantageous is a word as well. But think of when we talked about the lines on these games. You're favored in the first 10, 9, and then 4 of your last 8 games, you're not favored. Having a bye at Week 5 doesn't necessarily do you a ton of favors when it comes to how your schedule is built. Matt LaFleur actually spoke on this. We gave you this quote earlier this week, but it's always great to revisit when the head coach speaks. He said, it's interesting. You have a real quick turnaround in Week 2, getting a Thursday night game against a really talented Washington Commanders team, and then we have an early bye, which is kind of weird after the Thursday night game. But it is what it is. You're right, Coach. It is what it is. You can't do much about it. And honestly, when you look at how you stand with the entirety of the NFC North, it's not that bad. The Lions are at plus 13 days, which sucks. Packers are at minus 2. Vikings at minus 3. Bears at minus 4. So in comparison to your opponents, to your rivals, you're not sitting terribly. But when it comes to the Lions being plus 13 days, of course, the NFL wants this for Detroit. It just seems like the NFL's number one priority over the last 2 seasons is get the Detroit Lions as far as you can into the postseason, right? They seem so coddled. The NFL wants them to be good so bad. But, of course, the Lions keep doing what the Lions always do, is blowing it, fumbling, and screwing up their shot. I can't wait to see how they do it this year when they're plus 13 days in rest advantage. But I digress. Call your shot for me down below. Predict Green Bay's record against Detroit. 1-on-1 against the Lions. What do you got them going? 2-0? 1-1? 0-2? You let me know in the comment section down below. To wrap things up, we're going to do it on a little bit more of a positive note, a little bit more of a charge, okay? You got to play good teams and beat good teams if you want to win a Super Bowl. That's just how this league works. That's how life works in and of itself, right? You don't get to the top. You don't have success by beating up on losers. So because of that, I'm excited for this season. And I think at the end of it, when you get into the playoffs and you've already played as tough of a schedule as Green Bay has, I think that's only going to benefit you. When you have to play the NFC East, you have to play the NFC North twice, right? It's a really tough road. but the best teams come out on top. Make sure you guys are following me on Twitter and on Instagram at Joey Petersen8 on both of those platforms. I'm on Twitter a little bit more than I am on Instagram, but hey, if you want to see pictures of me, my wife, and my dog, go ahead, find me right there. And as always, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Again, we do this thing daily. We only talk Packers. I don't know what more I could say to get you guys subscribed. So if you haven't yet, join us today.